I want to talk about one of the most remarkable stories that I've heard throughout the entire war. And it's instructive in multiple ways, and I'm going to share why it's instructive in just a little bit. I talked about it about a week ago, but I only talked about it very briefly. And here's the full story. So last week we saw this. There was this Ukrainian soldier stuck in the gray zone. He was delivered an electronic bicycle by drone to help him evacuate. And I'm going to just play this while I'm talking about it. So there was a lot of moving parts that went into what was going on. This guy, they dropped him the bike, and he had to get it out like he's being seen by drones at the same time. This is his commander that's talking, and then a little bit later you see him riding off and getting out of Dodge. But there was a lot more that went into it. So first, let me preface with this. This is from the Kyiv Post. As Russian forces attempt to press deeper into the Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, Ukrainians have learned to defend with a wall of UAVs. It's not about where it happened. It's the wall of UAVs. And both sides actually have this wall of drones. So there's like a no man's land, almost a World War I-like no man's land that has grown up as a consequence of what's going on here. And so 10 kilometers or maybe is really intense, and then maybe 25 kilometers from both sides. And then you can get kind of to safety. Okay, so this guy's behind enemy lines, and we're going to tell you the whole story. I got this from J.P. Lindsley. J.P. Lindsley is a journalist. He's been in Ukraine for a long time. If you're on Twitter, go look him up. He also has a YouTube channel as well, and he's been on the ground in Ukraine almost the entire time of the war. Okay, a few days ago, I told you about Ukrainian defenders sending an e-bike via drone to save a stranded brother. It was a good story. But then folks sent me the details. It's amazing. Here's the full, insane drone rescue story, all about doing the impossible. And it really was like doing the impossible. Okay, for 4 to 5 days, Tankis, that's the call sign of the guy that was saved, had fought off daily Russian assaults alone. His 3 friends, dead, wounded, he could only hobble. Like they all perished, and he was left alone, and he was trying to hold on. Russians just keep coming. 1 or 2 at a time. He repels them. The radio crackles, "Hold on, brother. We'll get you out." And they were good to their word. That's part of the thing that with Ukrainians. They stay to their word. Then his rifle jams. Uh-oh, now we're in trouble. How do you end up here? Well, on day 1, there were 4 soldiers from Ruzba, that's border brigade, who were defending a position near Seversk. Russians surrounded them completely, the front, flanks, everywhere. They were in bad shape. 2 men died repelling the first assault. Then came gas canisters, so it's just only going to get worse. Fire broke out in their bunker. Michelich climbed out to extinguish it. Tankis heard the shots, 1 crack, then 2 simultaneously, then silence. He only saw a boot at the exit. His last brother was gone. Now he's alone. It's a bad place to be. His rifle jammed, his cartridge is stuck in the barrel. An unexploded FPV drone sits at his bunker's entrance. It's a trap. It's just waiting to detonate. But a Russian, an orc, aka Russian soldier, somehow crawls past the FPV without triggering it. He enters with an AK, pinning Tankis down. That's not a very good place to be. I had no choice. Tankis throws his last grenade at the entrance. Then the FPV drone, that also hits the FPV drone. The explosion from both kills the Russian inside the bunker. But Tankis is alive. He's still trapped behind enemy lines. Now he's wounded. Okay. At HQ, the 4th Battalion develops an insane plan. Use a heavy shot drone made by Ukrainian startup Gerdes Defense to deliver a 40-kilometer electric bike. They're going to try to drop a bike and let him ride out of there. Okay, the problem is that the drone is rated for 20 kilograms at this distance. They need to carry double. Multiple attempts fail. Now, for those of you who are American like I am, 80 kilometers doesn't mean, or 80 kilograms doesn't mean much, 40 kilograms doesn't mean much. It's actually 88 pounds. Okay, we can wrap our minds around that. Okay, so it's rated for 40 or for 20, and they need 40, which is 88 kilograms. or 88 pounds. Okay. First attempts are disasters. Russians shoot down one bike carrying a drone. Another's motor burns out from the weight. The drone motor burned out from the weight. Each failure costs thousands of dollars, but the commander says money doesn't compare to a human life. See, this is one of the big differences between the Russians and the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are doing everything they can to preserve their lives. That does not mean that there aren't some Soviet-style commanders still kind of wasting lives, throwing men into slaughter, or I saw Andrew Perpetua complaining about this the other day. Like, if you just had adequate provision, you wouldn't lose the hill and then have to go back and retake it at a higher cost. Some of those things happen. That's true. But Ukrainians are trying to save every Ukrainian life. And so they say, keep trying. And so that's a big difference. Now, in contrast, what we see with the Russians is something very, very different. I put this video out the other day, why Russia keeps losing so many troops, the brutal truth. Like Russian commanders were zeroing out troops that weren't paying them off, or troops that were annoying them, or that sort of thing. You don't see that on the Ukrainian side. Okay. Then, new approach, create relay stations. Then the bike is flown in pieces, assembled at a forward position. Then it's delivered already powered on. So they, here's half of it, here's the other half of it. They fly it as close as they can. They assemble it. Okay. It can do it for a very short period of time before the motor burns out. So, okay, everyone watches the feed. The commander said it felt like launching the first airplane into the sky. Hearts are pounding. And he says the heavy shots arrived and lowered the e-bike on a winch, but the cables then get tangled in the wheels. Tankis is alone for nearly a week. He's wounded. He's surrounded. He has to untangle them under enemy observation. With God's help, he says, I went. I bet you were praying during that time. The moment he rides off, the entire headquarters erupts, screaming, shouting, Tankis, speed up, maximum speed. 400 meters from the nearest friendly position, he hits a remote mine. What's 400 meters? It's about a quarter mile, or one time around a regulation track that's around a football field, if you're American. Okay. The explosion destroys the bike's front wheel because he hit a mine. Tankis is thrown to the ground, and he's 400 meters from getting where he needs to go. Through the smoke, he emerges, his leg filled with pain. He starts hobbling. What do I do? He radios. Go, don't stop. You're strong. We believe in you. Like, they're trying to encourage him to get across that line. It's very important. 200 more meters on foot. Ukrainian defenders sprint out from their position, still in contested territory, to meet him. They grab Tankis. They pull him to safety. Miraculously, the mine that destroyed the bike left him unharmed. He was just thrown off the bike. But still, he's deep in a danger zone. Seversk area requires 6 to 7 kilometers walks for normal troop rotation. They need another bike. So what do? Civilians rush to buy one. I mean, just the amount of generosity that's come out of people in fundraising campaigns, it's just been so heartwarming to see people care about other people. Civilians rush to buy one, same-day delivery through Ukraine's amazing Novopochta. Okay, another drone flight through enemy airspace, and this time Tankis gets on and rides for 15 minutes. He said it felt like half a lifetime. I bet it did. And the commander says to true safety, all while screaming on the radio, tell them I'm not an orc. Tell them not to shoot me. Tankis made it. This is Ukrainian society under fire. Drone tech, MacGyver adaptability, solidarity, friends from far from the front rushing to buy a new bike. Gazurov Defense designed the heavy shot 20 kilogram bombing runs, but when a brother needs rescue, you push tech beyond its limits. Yeah. If you see a strange fundraiser for electric bikes or mono wheels, don't be surprised, the commander says. This is how we save lives. Ukrainians are scaling production of robot drones for rescue missions. Efficiency is key, but adaptation is embraced. So I see robot drones, ground drones a lot, and this is where they're moving. The commander's words stay with me. Quote, if someone told me we deliver a 40-kilometer bicycle by drone through enemy territory to save one man, I'd say it's fantasy. But when it's your brother out there, you do the impossible. And he concludes with this. Incidentally, the word for victory in Ukrainian is Paramoha. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Literally, it means beyond limits or beyond ability. Victory for Ukrainians means to do the impossible. Wow, what a great way to turn a phrase. If Trump and Zelensky agree on a drone partnership, this is the type of beyond limits ally the U.S. will have. So, and he concludes by saying, follow him for daily reports, full scale resistance to the Russian war machine. And you ought to follow him for daily reports. His name is JP Lindsley, and you can find him on Twitter. You can find him on YouTube. I did an interview with him. It's a good guy. And like, wow, that's some good reporting. So I'll leave you with the image of what's going on as he was getting away. And yeah, this was something. I don't even know. It was just heartwarming, and I just felt like I had to share it. All right, my friends, tell me what you thought about what you heard here. The thing about this is how the characteristics, the cultural characteristics of Ukrainians in making sure that this happened, as opposed to, oh, well, what can we do? Thank you for your time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.